give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want.
Hey guys, Coach Dan here, aka the Bodybuilding Shrek. I've been lifting for over 20 years. I hold a degree in exercise and sports science, and I've been coaching others for 10 plus years. On this channel, we're all about evidence-based muscle growth or hypertrophy training. Today, I'm going to take you through my last workout of the week, which is pull workout number 2. I'm going to show you what I do, explain why I do it, and show you exactly how to execute so you can apply it to your own training. Up first, 2 things. Number 1, if you like the content, make sure to hit subscribe and like. And if you don't know if you're going to like it yet, just do it anyway, because I'm telling you, you're going to like it. Number 2, Coach Dan community question of the day, favorite cereal. Now, you can go either like a post-workout cereal or just your favorite cereal in general, or a combination of the two. Comment down below. All friendly discussions, no abuse. I know how passionate people get about these things. All right, to today. So I was sitting in the car listening to some rap music just before coming in here, as I do, and I was thinking, this is the happiest and most fulfilled I feel throughout the whole day, which is working out, and just before working out, just feeling how happy and you know, good I felt as I was coming in here and just sitting there and being mindful. And I was kind of trying to, you know, rationalize why that is. And I don't exactly know. I don't know if training because it moves your body physically makes you feel good, or it's that it gives you purpose, or that it gives you good outcomes, or whatever it might be. But I was sitting there going, oh, like, this is the best I feel throughout the day. And then as the day starts to go on, mood and stuff like that starts to dip, and then we get to do that again tomorrow. But, you know, for some, they never get to that stage because they don't do it for a long enough period of time to kind of get some of these rewards. But yeah, I was just interested to sit there and be mindful and think about that as I was listening to my rap music. Anyway, let's get into it. So this is a pull workout. We're going to start with some lateral delt work. That is not traditionally where my lateral delt work would go. It would go on the push workout, but because I wanted to increase a little bit of volume, I've put it on this day. It's got a good rest from the other push day that I've done this like recently, and a good couple of days before my next push day. So we're going to go cross body cable lateral raise, single arm cable lateral raise. I've got my cuffs here. So these cuffs you see people do for glute kickbacks and stuff like that. I've got them here just so I don't have to hold on to anything. And since using these, I can feel my delt work really well, so I don't have to hold on to anything. So I'll set the cable up at about hand or wrist height at the beginning. I'll clip in. So I not only do this from the side, but I also turn away from the cable machine a touch. I like the stretch that puts my shoulder in, my lateral delt in, and then we lateral raise directly out from this cable machine. So I've turned away and I'm lateral raising always directly against that. So all I have to focus on is where I get the position of my body, and not have to worry about anything surrounding this. I just know I always need to go out, aim for the other side of the cable machine. All right, let's get into it. Last workout of the week, another quiet gym. So our own time here. We're going to do 5 sets here, and then we're going to be into the back work. Okay, one and only lateral delt exercise done. A good in that one. The crossbody single arm cable lateral raise. Very customizable to your own self, as in you can make the cable higher, lower, whatever it might be. You can change your body angle. Some particular lateral raise machines, they are what they are, and you just have to live with it. Dumbbells even, you know, like dumbbells have an issue is that they're directly down against gravity, so the resistance is always down against gravity. That you can make it higher, lower to kind of make it harder and easier where you want. So it's pretty good. Okay, we move on to our back work. Now, if you have watched any of these videos of late, you know I might seem like a poster boy for the Kelso shrug for your upper back. And I probably am. If there is a Kelso shrug sponsorship, I want in on it because I'm a big fan. So a Kelso shrug, a standard shrug, has us going up like this. A Kelso shrug has us going back like that. So the idea here is to kind of get your traps, or the mid and lower part of the traps, then that will do, fired up. So when I go and do our T-bar row, they're already a little bit switched on, and I'll be able to feel them really well in the T-bar row, and hopefully they become the limiting factor with the T-bar row. I have been doing the Kelso shrugs on the T-bar row before my chest supported T-bar row. I'll stop saying T-bar row in a second here. However, the initial movement of a T-bar row kind of comes up. So it is almost like this upward shrugging motion. So I'm not getting that horizontal or more horizontal version that I personally want, which is I want it to come like this or even slightly down. So that's where the seated row comes in. So this is a seated cable row, pretty standard. I'm going to start with the neutral grip, medium, almost only because it was the one on here, but anything that goes over, almost any grip here is probably going to be appropriate because we're not pulling it too far. We're just moving the shoulders forward and back. So whatever feels good for you. So how it will look, I'll strap in as always to avoid any kind of grip issues. Boom, strap, strap. Once we're tightly strapped in, I'll then push away like a standard seated row, but instead of letting it instead of pulling my whole arm and shoulder back, it's just going to be pulling my shoulder back. So, pros to this, you can move your body. So I'm normally a big fan of a chest support for upper back training because you can kind of round around the chest support and it can kind of aid in that fact. So that is a downside to this, no chest support. But that lack of chest support means I can choose the angle that I want to kind of get my position for and make it custom to what I want to feel and train, which for me is mid and lower traps. So it's probably going to be a slight lean forward and then pull and squeeze them down. Well, I only have to lean forward and that is going to make them come down. So my scapula's in my back. If I lean my body angle forward, the resistance coming from this way, it'll end up working the lower part of the traps, which is the goal for me personally. All right, let's get it going.
What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that
All right, next up, classic chest supported T-bar row. Quick little note on the seated row Kelso shrug. I'm not counting it out as bad from the get-go because there's no chest pad, but a consideration to be had. Yes, number one, it's good because you can customize the position of your body because there's no chest pad. However, it also means you have to hold yourself upright or erect Now, I did stiff-legged deadlifts yesterday for my hamstrings and glutes, and now that I have done that, like I can feel my mid-back just from kind of having to hold that position while I shrug. If I was to do it on here, I just use the chest pad to kind of support me. So that's just a consideration. Not bad straight off the get-go, but just something to consider is that fatigue that it holds from just, you know, keeping your back erect. Do you know what I mean? The weight is pulling you this way. You have to hold that the whole time and shrug. So depending on your rep range and all that kind of stuff. So that might be a potential advantage of a chest-supported variation. All right, so now chest-supported T-bar row, not too much. This is a good machine. Resistance is good on this one, where it starts out hard at the bottom and gets easier as you go, which makes sense both potentially from a muscle growth point of view, harder in the stretch position, as well as from a pulling muscle strength position, is that we're usually stronger in the stretch position or the extended or lengthened position or whatever you want to call it. So it being hard out there, easy in here might make sense so we can complete the range of motion. The one consideration, main consideration is that we just line ourselves up with the machine. The machine is not going to move off of its hinge like a free weight or whatever it might be. So you have to line up at the beginning such that as I row here, I'm working directly against the resistance. Because it comes on an arc, you kind of want to line it up. So what can happen if we're too far up this way is as we pull, our wrist will kind of curl into this position. Or if we go too low, it's almost like a reverse bicep curl. So we line it up such that we are lined up with the resistance. I use my straps, as always, for my pulling movements. I place my feet on the ground. There is an option to put the feet on there, but that sometimes hurts my chest because I'm a little wussy boy. And then we're here, out, over, let it all lengthen out, pull and squeeze. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm going high rep range today. I like this machine so much. I do it 2 days per week, one at a lower or moderate rep range, maybe like 8 to 15, 10 to 15. And this one I'll start my first set up towards 20. Seems like a lot, but last week introducing that worked well. And yeah, I do this 2 days per week because at this gym, there's nothing else I really fancy as much as this. So I think this is so effective. I do it 2 days instead of varying my exercise selection. That might be a me thing, but I am me, so I continue to do me things. All right, let's go. All right, chest supported T-bar row done. Very good. Not too much to say. I don't know why not do a high rep range. Sometimes, yeah, people are big low rep range fans, like you don't need to, or there's no value in going to high rep ranges. But I think for movements where you struggle to feel like a mind to muscle connection, the high rep range is a very good place to be. At the beginning, you can really focus on the muscle, and then you get that burning sensation or that metabolite stress. So from a couple of different perspectives, I think that's quite a good thing. And it doesn't mean you only have to do the high rep range. You can kind of, maybe once you kind of get a feel for yourself, feel for the muscle yourself, then you can bring it back down to a lower moderate rep range and you'll be able to feel it because you've been practicing in that high rep range. With that all said, we move on to the plate loaded low row. So another chest supported upper back variation, but instead of the T-bar row kind of comes like this. This now kind of goes like this. So training the upper back from a couple of different angles, I think has some merit. People have categorized the upper back specifically into multiple different sections. So one particular section kind of shrugs up, one particular section kind of shrugs up and back, one particular section shrugs back, and then there's the like squeezing and downward rotation of the scapula. So doing a couple different movements per workout that kind of tick all those boxes, or alternatively, if you have a weak point within that section, so for me it's lower back, even though I'm doing a lower part of the upper back, even though I'm doing this one which goes up, most of the exercises I do for the upper back are more mid or then down. So this is good. Resistance is good on this one. It's always had a nice feel to it for me. So what we'll do, same idea with the chest supported row variation. You kind of want to line yourself up with the resistance because the machine's not going to change. So for me, I've got the seat all the way at the top and I'm grabbing the handle at the bottom such that when I row, my forearm is completely in line with the resistance or the handle that I'm working with. And I squeeze the shoulder blades up and back. Chest is proud, use that chest support, squeeze, squeeze. Nothing to it but to do it. Let's add our weight and let's get into it. All right, upper back work done. So we did the Kelso shrug, we did the chest supported T-bar row, and then we did that low row there. All very nice. I have no issues with any of those currently, which is big for me because I'm a critical prick. Well, this is the last week at this gym for the near future, so we'll have to kind of potentially recreate what we've got here at another gym or find some alternatives, but that is next week's problem. Now you'll see how pedantic I am depending on the type of machine and this, whatever the handle is. I'll use different grips, so something like this on a grip like this can often slip and slide, whereas this one here, which is some kind of rubber or something or other, kind of sticks a little bit better. Geez, I focus on every little detail, don't I? Anyway, now we go into lat dominated stuff. So if you think about lats versus upper back is usually working best when our arms are kind of coming away from our body, because the lat is a muscle that attaches to the front of your arm, wraps underneath your armpit and heads in towards your spine, and also heads down towards your pelvis or hips, right? So its job is to kind of take your arm, regardless of this portion, and kind of pull it to those different directions. Now, if we start to take our arm away from the body, it's not that that muscle won't work, but it's trying to pull you in there, and your arm is going out there. So some other things are going to have to help out. So with the upper back movements, the arms come away, the upper back moves, the traps work, the rear delts work, all these kinds of things. So with all that said, to now make it a lat dominated movement, we're going to go arm close to the body. We're going to start off with an upper lat movement, or theoretically an upper lat movement, which means pulling the arm horizontally. The upper lat, again, wrapping underneath your rib cage, armpit and around your rib cage, and heading in towards the thoracic spine, or mid to upper part of your spine. So we're thinking pull in this direction and around in towards that point. So I've got this, I'm going to go compound row. This is a plate loaded compound row machine. I'm going to go single arm such that I can line up and keep my arm nice and close to the body. So we go here, I've got one foot on to prevent any kind of pulling me forward. I'll bring it back, line up with the movement, pull in. Stretch, pull. And that's that, pulling in towards the spine. Same on both sides. Beautiful machine. So it doesn't get too much better than this one, I don't think. All right, we build it up for this particular movement. We are going to do a heavier set, 8 to 10 reps, and then we're going to back it off to 10 to 15. So let's build up our weight and get cracking. Okay, pull down next. Now I did a big spiel last week about how to choose a pull down grip for your lats, for your lower lats. So I won't belabor you with too much there. Just the idea that, again, same. For our lats, we're thinking arm close to the body. For our lower lats, we're thinking, okay, so they start here, wrap around your ribcage and head down. So I want to pull in that direction that I head down towards the pelvis. Now, since checking the video from last week, I noticed that I was far back here, right? So I kind of tucked in here like this because all these pull downs are a bit different. And what was happening is I was kind of pulling down, the resistance is coming down this way, but my body wanted to move this way. So what I'm going to do today to line up with the lower lats is get in nice and close, like such, and then pull down, and hopefully that will kind of line up with the lower lats. And we'll keep getting a little bit better as we go on. That's number one. Number two, I am finding that second lat exercise of the session, the heavy stuff, I feel nothing. So normally for lat-based stuff, I like to do a heavier set, about 8 to 10, and then back it off to 10 to 15. But the second lat exercise of the day, just that first set just goes to absolute shit. So I'm going to go all to a moderate rep range, about 10 to 15, starting there. That's number two. And then also lengthen partials. So lengthen partials. So once I can't quite get it all the way down anymore, I'll do sort of half reps to kind of get that little bit close to failure. So number one, handle grip, close to the body. It could be reverse, overhand, neutral, sort of in here driving down. Number two, moderate rep range for me because, yeah, the heavy stuff after already doing some heavy stuff over there is absolute kaputski. And then number three, orientating myself with where the resistance is coming from so it's in line with the lower lat. So we'll grab this handle. So this is a, overhand neutral that I kind of practiced a few last week. Tuck legs under, and we're going all the way in. From here, stretch out at the top, pull down. Stretch, pull. When I can no longer get to the chest, I'll be here, something like that. Stretch, stretch. All right, let's see how this goes. All right, last little combo of the day. So a couple of thoughts here about just general training, not life necessarily, a little bit, it's a little bit intertwined here. Number one, this will be the last session at this gym. So some of the stuff that I've been doing here won't be able to do where I go next. I know a couple ideas of what gym I'll be training at, so I know a couple of things that I'll be doing, but a lot of this stuff being that, you know, it's an older school gym, you'd call it. You got a couple of pieces that they're just not around anymore. So you go to a different gym, almost certainly they will not have some stuff. That's number two. That was number one. Number two, I feel very, very tired today. So a couple of thoughts that go into that. I feel like this session has been going on forever, but it's just a normal Saturday session for me. So a couple of thoughts for that, because we are moving, obviously been doing a lot of stuff surrounding moving, packing, all that kind of stuff. That could be number one. Number two, I could consider eating before this workout, something small, such that, energetically I feel good throughout. Maybe that's a factor, maybe it's not a factor. I do feel hunger in this session, and being in a maintenance phase, a bodyweight maintenance phase, that's not really what I should be feeling. So those are two considerations. Yeah, all right, on to the specifics. So we're gonna do this as a superset. We've got a rear delt exercise and a bicep exercise. This is the Cal Gym, I think the brand is, Preacher Curl, something I've been paying attention to surrounding machines at the moment is what we call the cam. So it's this thing that essentially the cable comes in and it rotates around to do the movement. And I have never really thought about the cam too much. I've heard a little bit about it and heard some biomechanics people talk a little bit about it. But essentially what happens with this, which is quite interesting to me now that I've sort of gotten a little bit of knowledge surrounding it, is essentially that where this cable comes in, this is the pivot point or the hinge point where this cable comes in as the cam rotates. Where that cable then is, as it relates to this pivot point, makes the machine harder or easier in the range, right? So you can see this is like a semicircle. Some of the cams, like you can't see this one, but there's a Preacher Curl here that it's kind of like a circle. So if it comes in here, and because it's a half circle, this point will get closer to the pivot point. This will get easier throughout the range of motion, then harder on this way. So that is potentially ideal for muscle growth. Hard in the stretch position, easier in the shortened position. So pretty interesting, actually. I'm gonna learn a little bit more about those and yeah, pay attention to that going forward. So Preacher Curl, benefit of the Preacher Curl is that essentially one of the muscles in the bicep or in the upper arm, the front of the upper arm, called the brachialis, only passes the elbow. So when we do curl variations like we did the other day, where our arm is behind the level of the body, that will train the bicep brachii, the big two-headed muscle on top. But there's a muscle beneath there called the brachialis. It only passes the elbow. And now what that means is it being back here means nothing to the brachialis. So what we do, if we bring this forward, there's potential that the bicep brachii is a little less active and the brachialis gets crushed. So that's the theory. There are a couple of direct studies just surrounding bicep growth and different positions like preacher versus incline dumbbell curls and stuff like that. And they kind of show up as different regional muscle growth. By different regional muscle growth, different areas of the bicep appear to be getting bigger. So with that in mind, it's probably worthwhile doing both. Okay, anyway, to the specifics of the Preacher Curl, we'll line our elbow up with the pivot point, sit down with the weight, curl, stretch, feel it get harder through the eccentric, oh yeah, and curl. Beautiful. Whew. I hope at the next gym I find a Preacher Curl like that, because that is a beauty. Now, in combination with this, we're going to do a rear delt cable fly, so we'll go and demo that now. I've been doing a dual one. I don't really love the dual one, but doing single arm at a time just seems like a pain. But today I'm going to do single arm. I'm going to be committed, you know what I'm saying? Let's go check that out now. All right, our rear delt exercise. So I've just been fucking around with the position that I want to go from there, and I'm not certain, but we've got a starting point to kind of work from. So if we think about the anatomy of the rear delt, it inserts to the deltoid tuberosity like all of the other heads of the deltoid. So the deltoid, broadly speaking, made up into three portions: the anterior or the front part, the lateral or the side part, and the posterior or the back part. So they all come and insert into the deltoid tuberosity, right? But the anterior part comes forward, attaches to the outer third of the clavicle. The lateral part attaches into the acromion or the side part of the shoulder. The rear attaches into the spine of the scapula. Now, the reason I mention this quite specifically, so if we look at the anatomy of the rear deltoid then, if we're in this, what we call the anatomic position, it's kind of going from here and then angling upwards into that kind of, up into the spine of the scapula. So if I want to make it such that I work that muscle potentially in that perfect line, we're thinking we want to line up such that those 2 points come to one another. So if I go from here and if I were to follow that path through, you can see that it goes through that line. This is a little bit confusing, but yeah, you're thinking deltoid tuberosity, it is angling up, but as I go through that range, it does start to angle up. So this kind of position here, big stretched, and then that kind of position shortened, and that's that line. So that there, now we're thinking, okay, so that's my finish position. This is going this way, it's been pulled up into that position. I hope I've made that somewhat clear. So with that in mind, then we're gonna get like an angle where we're kind of going through that range. So I've set this height to start off with. I've got my cuffs back such that I don't have to think or hold on to anything or pay attention to the grip. I'll turn away so we get this big stretch through that deltoid. And then I'll essentially angle my arm path directly against where that arm or that resistance is going. So we're here, going through that kind of path there. Stretch that path. As I said, I'm not certain about the height yet, but that feels quite good, that height there. Now, I don't know how much you can see, but the preacher curl is 2 machines away. So not this one here, 1, the next one 2. So I'm gonna do bicep curl, walk the 3 meters or so it takes to get here, do one arm, do the other arm, and then walk back and do that again. So yeah, normally in this kind of position, I want to do 2, but I found doing 2 at one time, they kind of collide, you can't angle them as you'd like, all that kind of stuff. So I'll do single arm at a time. I'll finish this workout right. Finish this workout off right. Yeah, that's right. All right, let's have a little fuck around with these heights and then get going. Ugh.